Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is a rather interesting game, with an even more intriguing story. For the uninitiated, we follow Sora and Riku once again. This time, they're making their way through the labyrinth of Castle Oblivion. There, they encounter the mysterious organization. These new adversaries hold many secrets, but what are they after? To understand the game, one must learn its rules. For the game being played in Castle Oblivion, there are many pieces to understand. Welcome to Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, a character analysis. Chapter 1. We Two Kings. Not every game has a win condition, but the game in Castle Oblivion has two. In order for the players, that is, the organization, to win, they must first achieve one of two win states. For the players residing at the top of Castle Oblivion, they must manipulate Sora's memories until he becomes a puppet to their whims. For the players lurking in the depths of the castle, they only need to push Riku further and further into the darkness until he is consumed by it. Either way, our players will win with at least one more pawn amongst their ranks. However, these kings will not give in so easily. Sora is one of the strongest pieces within the castle. Mind you, at this point he's already defeated Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, and as he climbs farther up, he's only going to become more powerful. Manipulating his memories may bring the players closer to victory, but what memories will he recover before he reaches the top? And will the loss of his memories only drive him into an uncontrollable rage? What monster are they creating that they have sent right to their door, and will they be able to tame it? If it reaches the top before they can, do you think they'll be able to survive? Riku is no less resilient. He has grown cautious of the darkness, and his newfound hatred for its scent has the potential of driving him towards you. However, he's not as powerful without the darkness. This will become a double-edged sword for our players. Pushing him to accept the darkness only makes him stronger. Will he be lost to it again, or may he gain true control over this forbidden power? For either the player above or the player below, they'll need to work quick. And unfortunately, these kings do not venture alone. Chapter 2. The Castles of Castle Oblivion. The Rook is a powerful piece, capable of both powerful defense and offensive plays. A well-placed rook can thwart any danger a king might face. For Sora, his rooks are of his friends, Donald and Goofy. Throughout the castle, these two will protect Sora in combat whenever he chooses to call on them. But this is not where their true value lies. The players may have the ability to manipulate Sora's memories, but Donald and Goofy have the ability to help him keep his wits about. They will try to make sure Sora maintains a sense of self. Driving a stake between the three of them may be an effective plan, but how effective will our players be at swaying the loyalty of friends? For Riku, there is only one rook. However, this rook is far more powerful than either of Sora's, for Riku is accompanied by King Mickey. Mickey's potential in combat is absolutely superb. He's able to attack and heal in the same breath. Just as Donald and Goofy keep Sora grounded in reality, Mickey is able to keep Riku grounded in the light. It's unlikely this connection can be severed, but perhaps our players can trap Riku where the light cannot reach him. Under these conditions, the game is looking pretty difficult for our players. But maybe we should see what pieces they have on their side. Chapter 3. Unholy Clergy. A bishop, like a rook, is capable of holding immense power on the board. However, the loss of a bishop can be devastating. With only one per color, a lost bishop can often lead to a lost game. Like in chess, the game in Castle Oblivion has 4 bishops: Vexen, Larxene, Lexaeus, and Zexion. Vexen is an interesting piece in this game. He has his fair share of control over several of the pieces, and this makes him important. Zexion and Lexaeus both conspire with him in concern to plays against Riku, whilst also showing dominance over Sora in that part of the game. Being the highest ranking member out of the lot, at number 4, he fancies himself in charge. He also has command over the Riku replica, a piece we'll talk about later. Indeed, he is a very important piece, but he is not a powerful piece. This game is being played on multiple fronts, and by more than 2 players. Vexen is caught in the crossfire, and that's the linchpin that could lead to the game's conclusion. Without Vexen, the rest of the pieces will start to fall. Larxene doesn't hold much command over the board, but she's mobile when she needs to be. She's like the king's side bishop, able to be put to use early in the game. Indeed, she's essential to the game plan versus Sora, driving the manipulation of his memories even further and giving him a conviction to his false memories. However, being so close to that conviction puts her in one of the most dangerous positions of the game. Without proper play, Larxene will find herself in check, and without exit. A piece I have distinct interest in is Lexaeus. As a part of the basement team, he's juxtaposed with the minds of Vexen and Zexion. One might expect this to result in a contrast between brains and brawn, but it results in showing just how intelligent Lexaeus really is. He's not a brute, he's a hunter with honed senses and a keen instinct. This piece moves only when the time is right, which makes timing vital to his success. If he moves too late, then he'll be pitting himself against a Riku too powerful to control. However, if you listen to his battle quotes, you'll come to understand that his overwhelming strength comes from focused use of the power of darkness. Perhaps fighting fire with fire, or rather, darkness with darkness, will be the winning strategy. Zexion is the final bishop, and he stands in all but total opposition to Lexaeus. Instead of brute force, Zexion prefers to work in deception and illusion. However, the same rule applies to his weaknesses, as he is not as sensible as Lexaeus. Remember that this game has more than 2 players. Zexion's naivete may be what gets the best of him and loses him the game. Our bishops are set, but there are still more pieces in the organization that we need to discuss. Axel will come in due time, but for now, I think we should talk about Marluxia. Chapter 4. Yas, Queen. The Queen is undoubtedly the most powerful piece in the game of chess. Likewise, Marluxia is undoubtedly the most powerful piece of the game in Castle Oblivion. He maintains full control over the board, moving the other pieces around him at his own whim. Indeed, he is the centerpiece of their strategy. Without Marluxia, the players have little leverage left in the game. Outside of strategic control, his physical prowess is unmatched. And much like the queens in chess, you can uproot one, but another may grow in its place. Marluxia is not going down as easily as his allies, that's for sure. But the larger pieces aren't the only important figures in the game. In order for the players' strategies to work, they're going to need help from a couple of very useful pawns. Chapter 5. nothing but pawns. To some, a pawn might seem like a worthless piece. They're small, and they're not very powerful. However, there's more to a pawn than meets the eye. Take Naminé, for instance. Naminé is the key to the game versus Sora. She's what the players are using to manipulate his memories. However, she's also playing her own game. Naminé puts herself in a place in Sora's memory that turns him into a loyal tool for her. She does this both to further the player's strategy and to synthesize a friendship with him. This has an unforeseen side effect. Sora becomes more loyal to Naminé, and vice versa. This situation could be used to leverage both these pieces against the players. At the same time, we have the Replica Riku, or Repliku. Repliku was deliberately designed to be a piece in this game, and is a pawn in the truest sense. He's a tool to be used by the players. Nothing more, nothing less. However, as a true pawn, he can become much more than the simple piece he started out as. In the right hands, this pawn can become a devastatingly powerful ally, or adversary. But who else is making use of these pieces? I've alluded to the other players, but who are they? Chapter 6. A horse, Kingdom Hearts for a horse. The knight is a strange piece. It moves in a strange way. It's able to ignore the placement of other pieces in a way no other piece can. It also has more control over the board than you may recognize. And in this game, our knights aren't playing for black or for white, but for their own teams. Our first knight is Axel. Axel clearly has his own agenda. He's playing with his own strategy, and he has his own win condition. What that isn't going to be apparent until the game is over, so I'll let you watch that play out as it happens. As a player on a team of only himself, every piece and every play is fair game. There's also the mysterious Diz, or so he's known. His strategy won't make sense in this game. In fact, he's not really playing this game at all. He's playing a game somewhere else. However, these pieces are still a part of that second game. Therefore, it's most proper to say that he's playing a metagame. In hindsight, Diz will make more sense. But I'll leave that for Kingdom Hearts 2. Chapter 7. The Game. For the opening move, Sora, Donald, and Goofy are lured into Castle Oblivion. They encounter recreations of the worlds they visited in their last journey, generated by Sora's memories. They run into members of the organization, but nothing has really happened yet. No major moves have been made. Next, Riku is let into the castle by Diz. He encounters similar memory worlds, but his worlds are only inhabited by creatures of darkness which he vows to eliminate. He also runs into a projection of King Mickey, who accompanies him throughout his journey. Vexen, Zexion, and Lexius take note of Riku's arrival, and decide to send Repliku to face the real Riku. Riku wins, but the test is ultimately successful. Repliku, who now has false memories, is sent to face Sora. Sora beats the replica, but it's clear that the effects of Naminé's meddling have flourished. Sora moves further up the castle, motivated by his will to save Naminé from the organization. This is where the game truly starts. Vexen faces Sora and is left in a weakened state. At this point, Axel, under orders from Marluxia, arrives to finish Vexen off. King skewers Bishop. Knight captures Bishop. Zexion and Lexius, realizing that they're now fighting Riku, Sora, and their traitorous former allies, become desperate. Sora continues up the castle, taking out Larxene. King captures Bishop. Riku also continues until he's challenged by Lexius. Lexius is certain that he will either get Riku to succumb to darkness or defeat Riku trying. Riku doesn't succumb, but takes control of the darkness to defeat Lexius. King takes Bishop. Sora is now at the top of the castle, exactly where Axel needs him. Marluxia has figured out that he has been double-crossed, but it's too late. Before he can defeat Axel, Sora is right on top of them. Axel retreats, and Sora defeats Marluxia. Queen threatens Knight. King takes Queen. Zexion, now figuring out he's alone, tries to take on Riku by himself, but finds that he has to retreat. Zexion finds himself with Axel and Repliku, and Axel uses the replica to finish off Zexion. King threatens Bishop. Bishop retreats. Pawn takes Bishop. Repliku faces Riku one last time and is defeated. King takes pawn. In the end, Riku has accepted the darkness and is able to be of use to Diz. Sora's memories need to be repaired, but he's more than played his part. Without the bishops, the queen, and without one of the pawns, the only pieces remaining are Sora, Donald, Goofy, Riku, Mickey, Diz, Naminé, and Axel. With Axel turned a traitor, not a shred of the organization, not even their replica, remains. Game over.